you like making money? Well, if so, you have come to the right video, my friend. I'm Evan Deal with the Lead Icon team in eXp Realty, and today I'm going to show you how you can make money in real estate in Indianapolis. So if you're a real estate investor, or maybe you're thinking about getting into the game, this is the video for you. Before we get into that, hey, be sure to leave a like on this video if you like it as we go along. Hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around the Circle City, this place that we love and call home. Now let's get into it. So we cover everything around Indianapolis and the surrounding areas on this channel. We talk about all the suburbs, we talk about the city, culture, sports, you name it. This is living in Indianapolis, Indiana, after all. And today I really want to dive into the actual city of Indianapolis. So we're going to start out by looking at some of the areas that are really popping in terms of investment. And what I like to track as I'm working with investors is, where do you see the most action happening around the city? Where do you see new developments going up? Where do you see refurbishments and renovations and rehabs happening? Where do you see entire areas and neighborhoods being flipped? This is what we're going to focus on today. So if you're looking for some of those hot areas, this is the video. Now let's dive into it. All right, so this is Indianapolis from an aerial view, right? We've got the Circle City surrounded by 465, and then Indianapolis can leak out in some areas, but for the most part, it's encapsulated in 465. And then you have all the suburbs. You've got Avon, Plainfield, Carmel, Fishers, etc. That's not where we're focusing today. Where we're going to focus is downtown. So Indianapolis is broken up into, or rather Marion County is broken up into 9 townships. And we are going to be focusing on Center Township, which, as you would imagine, is the center of the grid of 9. So you can also just think of it as downtown. And I'm not talking necessarily downtown, where you have all the skyscrapers and the Salesforce Tower and at White River State Park and all that. We're going to go just outside of that into the rest of Center Township, and I'm going to show you some of the areas where investors are really focused on driving value and making money. Now that you're centered into where we're looking at today, let's actually take a look at some of those areas. All right, the first area I'm going to focus on is Bates Hendricks, which sits just south of the city center. So here it is on a map. You can see right here, this is like downtown Indy. Here's Lucas Oil, which, if you're driving on I-70, you're going to see right across the way. Here's Lilly, the headquarters for it. Bates Hendricks is this area right here. And so you see a lot come up for sale that's both redone here because people have invested, as well as projects that still need work. I've shown duplexes, I've shown single family homes all over Bates Hendricks because it's a very popular area amongst investors. And so whether it's out-of-state investors, in-state investors, I have worked with a ton of different people in this area, and there's really a lot of opportunities. So what I want to do is dive into the MLS to show what's on the market, what has been sold, and what it looks like. So let's look at some of the lower price options here. We have I filtered down to multifamily right now. This all applies for single family as well, but for the sake of time, I'm going to look at multifamily today. And if you want to talk through single family rentals, all of these places have them as well. They're very, very popular. Same principles apply, but I'm going to look at multifamily today. So if you're interested in single family, let me know. Book some time on my calendar and let's look at it personally together. So here, you got one that's at 180. Let's take a dive into it. Take a look at the pictures. Yeah, this one ready for an update, right? So 180, it's not really necessarily livable right now, but that one sold at 180. And that's what you're going to see in that price point. So 130, here's one on Union Street. Let's take a dive into it. Nice duplex. Yeah, it's ready for renovation. So you can see it's fallen into disrepair. It looks like they started some of the work, but maybe didn't finish it. And you can find ones like that too. I've toured ones that maybe the current investor ran out of money, or they had to switch projects, and they've done some of the work but not all of it. So those options are out there as well throughout Indianapolis. Let's take a look at one more. Here's a 160 on Talbot. And yeah, so it's pretty basic. Looks functional, but maybe not fully optimized. So definitely could do with a good refresh to add value to the duplex. So with that in mind, you're seeing that in the lower price point for the area, right? In the hundreds. And they can get higher than that too. It just depends on the property, really. But those are all sold, and those are the befores. Let's look at some of the afters that are either active or sold. So here's one that's sold that's at $579. Now check this one out. This was built in 1920. Does that look like it was built in 1920? So it's been updated and looks like it's in pretty good shape, ready to rent out. So it's in a rent-ready condition, right off of downtown. You know, you're talking 400,000 from what we saw in some of the other ones. Difference. So obviously a lot of work that goes into some of these, definitely some of the older spaces, but the value is there. Here's one on Prospect that's $750. This is active on the market, and this is actually a new build. So as I mentioned, there's new construction. So this one is a proposed new construction. It's not done yet, but one that is in a really sort of valuable spot there, just off of downtown. Here's another one that's active on the market at $580K. I think this one used to be a Good Bones one, actually. Yeah, HGTV Good Bones. So yeah, check this out. You can see it's been totally redone, updated, very nice looking, lots of great fixtures throughout. And that's what you'll see in a lot of these areas. They have a very trendy vibe to them, is the way I would describe it. You see lots of really colorful choices on the duplexes, so the areas really pop as you drive through them, and you can tell the difference between the new and the old. So you're seeing hundreds of thousands of difference between the sale price as well as the purchase price. Here's one at $425. You can see it looks really nice on the outside. Built 1910. Does that look like 1910 style to you? Only 13 days on the market. Really nice looking throughout. Very well done. So, I mean, the opportunity is there, but what you want to make sure you do with a project that's this large, you really need to have the vision for what you're going to do, as well as all of your ducks in a row on who's going to do the work, what's your timeline, what your holding costs going to be. And if that's something you need help underwriting, I do that. I can help you underwrite it. We could talk through the project. I've also got local contractors because my wife and I do flips. We have rentals as well. If you're looking to get into this market, but you're a little worried that you don't have the resources from a personnel standpoint to handle it, let me know. I can help you with that. And I know that's a big deal for a lot of people when they're going to new markets. All right, let's go not too far away from Bates Hendricks and go to Fountain Square. So here's where we were in Bates Hendricks, just south of downtown. And right over here is another really trendy area called Fountain Square. So both of these areas have been sort of in the works on redevelopment with either new development or refreshing a lot of the older structures for a long time. So Fountain Square has a really neat downtown area that has a very local feel, and it's a totally revitalized area of the city. And you just really need to see it and experience it to fully get the feel. But you have all sorts of cafes and restaurants and stores, and it really is its nice own little pocket of the city. So let's take a look at what there is from a real estate standpoint in Fountain Square. All right, you're going to see a lot of similar prices here. So let's look at this sold, $130. This is actually one I sold. So you have Prospect Street. This one, it's a big project, but it's going to be amazing when it's done. They're currently working on it. But this is one that sold for $130, and it's actually like a quadruplex. So there's a lot of units to be had. But if you don't necessarily like the shape of the units, you can actually refit these buildings to make them, like a duplex or condos or whatever works. There's different ways of doing it. Just make sure you go through the appropriate channels when it comes to the zoning of the building. Make sure you're going through the appropriate local authorities if you're making major structural changes. So let's take a look at some of the other options. Here was one that sold for $90K. $90K for a duplex. So 5 pictures. I think you can tell by the outside what the inside is going to look like. It was actually on the market for 126 days. So really interesting, great opportunity for refurbishment there. Now let's look at a couple of the after repair ones. So here's a 330, looks like a smaller duplex. And let's take a look here. Yeah, looks pretty solid on the inside, really nice stuff, nice and airy and bright. So only 330. That's a really great deal. That's the median home price in Indianapolis, like single family home, depends on the area of the city, but it tends to hover around 230 to 250 in Indianapolis. Like I said, it really depends on the area. But I mean, so 330 for 2 units, and they're finished. That's a nice deal. 660. Let's check this one out. See, this is what I was talking about with some of the funky, bold choices. It's really cool downtown. You'll see these. You don't really see them around the city so much, but you see them in these pockets downtown. So this one, only on the market 21 days, 660,000. Looks like it's been really nicely redone on the inside. You can see that value is there because they put the money into it and made a really special experience. Here's one that's active on the market at 619 on Woodlawn. It's only been on the market 15 days, so hey, if you're interested, holler at me. 619,000, built in 1900, but look at it. It's looking great now. So you can see the property values are there in this area in Fountain Square, especially the closer you get to Fountain Square. You see them tick up and up and up because it has that nice walkable downtown area. So the closer you are, the easier it is for that walkability. It's just really nice. So there's a lot of meat on the bone. If you're looking for a duplex project in Fountain Square, you just got to find the right property and have the right vision for it to bring its fullest value to life. All right, so we've looked a little bit south and a little bit southeast of downtown. Now I want to go to the north. So let's look at our map again. Let's zoom out a little. So we have Indianapolis here. Here's our downtown. We were down here and here. Now we're going to go up here. So there's 3 areas I want to touch on briefly up here. And, Fountain Square, Bates Hendricks, these are some of the sort of classic areas over the last decade that people really like to invest in. But I want to touch on some of the areas that are emerging more recently or have really high potential as well. So first, we're going to touch on Old Northside, which is a really nice area just north of downtown. And Old Northside tends to be more expensive than some of the other areas around downtown because the homes are really big and old, and it's just a really cool looking area. So let's take a look at what's available. So here's one that sold for $302,000, and this is fully done. So it's not like top end in terms of the finishing, but it is rent ready. So you can acquire one in the area for $302,000. That's not a bad deal. We've got $290,000. Let's take a look. Only 3. So yeah, ready for renovation. So you can see this one ready for renovation, $290,000. So it's a higher baseline to acquire a property in this area. Let's look at some of here. Let's check out this one, 455 on Bellefontaine. Only 21 days on the market. Yep, ready to go. Looks great. And yeah, 455. So that's for a duplex. So you're looking at over 200,000 per side. You can see it's a higher priced area than on the average because that wasn't like a humongous duplex. Let's look at some of these higher options as well. 644. It's active on the market. Has been on the market for a while, so maybe the price is a little higher than what people are looking for right now. But really nice looking throughout. Very classic. Very clean. And yeah, right off of downtown. Here's one. This is actually a bigger building, but I just wanted to show it because it looks cool for 1.8. So 5 units here, and they're really nice units as well. So this is a high-end, historically restored building, just really great looking. So from Old Northside, I want to pop up, and there is stuff emerging in Heron Morton, in near Northside, but what I want to focus on for the sake of time is Monon Yard, because Monon Yard is absolutely popping right now from an investment standpoint. So this is an area that is just rife with duplexes, and a lot of them, there's new construction, there's refurbished, renovated, rehab duplexes all over the place. And it's like I said with some of the others, it's just really colorful. There's like red and green and blue buildings, and it's a really neat looking area. So check out this one on College. Believe it or not, this is one I sold as well. So look inside, ready for renovation, right? Yep. And within that, 210,000, plenty of meat on the bone. You see some of these other areas, 490, 471. Like, let's take a look at some of the finished ones. Here's on Guilford. There's been multiple on Guilford go up recently. It's like the whole street's renovated. It's amazing. Yeah, check it out. Nice, cool fixtures. Smaller duplex, but holding value there at 435. Nice. And you have 490,000. Oh yeah, check this out. So they have a bunch of these in the area. So I mean, even just on Guilford, you can see 3 of these style of homes. They're all like colored differently, but it's this exact style of like newer construction. But really cool looking. So you see it in the upper 4s. Here's another one in the upper 4s at 471. And yeah, you can see some of the funky colors. It's got kind of the striping on the outside. Looks really nice on the inside. And so you're seeing in this Monon Yard area, you see that upper 4s value. So if you're looking to acquire, make sure you back calculate your profit, your project costs, to make sure you have the margin that you're looking for. Here's one on Guilford. I've actually shown this one at 223. This one's a great project. So check it out. Just ready to be redone on the inside. And if I remember correctly, that one's in between 2 that are already done. One of them had like this sweet looking outdoor basketball court that I was super jealous of and wanted for my own house. But yeah, that Monon Yard area is great. There is tons and tons of activity in that area. So if you're looking for somewhere that's hot, that is a great area to look in. And I just want to touch on a couple more opportunities. I don't want to go into as much depth on these, but you do see, if you're looking for more sort of affordable properties, I have seen a lot of acquisitions in Crown Hill. I've shown a ton of the duplexes in Crown Hill. You can see some of the purchase prices are a lot more affordable than what we've seen elsewhere. 110, 126, 160. Crown Hill is a giant cemetery. That's over here. That's how the area gets its name. And you see, like I said, you see the acquisition side of it. You have not seen the fully completed, renovated properties coming on the market in mass yet. So a lot of the properties have been acquired, but have not necessarily been flipped yet. That's something that'll be happening over time. Across the way, you have, actually, let me ground you real quick, because if we're looking, let me zoom out for you. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Crown Hill. If you've ever been to the Children's Museum, the 2 areas that flank it are Crown Hill and Mapleton Fall Creek. And there's a lot of investment in the area, and there are a lot of sort of opportunities for investment as well. But these are the 2 areas I'm talking about here. So that's Crown Hill. And then in Mapleton Fall Creek, you have similar, but a little bit elevated on the purchase price. So you see you have some in the 200s, high 1s, and then they're selling sort of in the 3s to 4s. So you do see some investment in those areas, but I see a lot of acquisition because the properties are still more affordable than some of the other areas that we've looked at today. So if you're looking for trying to maximize ROI, this could be an area where you look to acquire a lower average price point. Same thing for Riverside as well, depending on where you purchase from Riverside. But there are some lower priced properties over in the Riverside area as well. And you can see that some of the ones that are coming on market, you have it in 680, 425. There's a sold for 380. So there is definitely profit potential to be had there. And the Riverside area is, just north of the big hospitals downtown. So these are some of the areas around Center Township that I really wanted to touch on. There is one more thing I want to point out. If you go to the north, so just north of Crown Hill, you have Butler Tarkington, which is a really nice area. It's where Butler University is. So if you're looking at like collegiate housing, maybe single family housing, or getting a duplex there to rent out to students or faculty or whatever, that could be a really good area if university housing is something that you're targeting. So that is kind of a high-level overview of some of the areas around Center Township and in Indianapolis that I see my investor clients making the most money in. These areas are a hotbed of activity, like I said, amongst people from all over the world, not just here in Indiana, but people across the country and even international clients I work with as well. So you have got this whole area in Center Township, but there are other areas around Indianapolis as well. I've seen people take a look on the west side. There's a lot of affordable properties in West Indianapolis. You have really amazing historic homes that can be renovated in Meridian Kessler if you're looking for sort of a high-end flip. There's areas in the southeast as well, plenty of opportunities. So depending on what you're looking for, there is an option for you. Today I focused on multifamily housing, but if you're looking at single family, all of these areas have single family housing as well. It's similar dynamics as to what I discussed here. I was just looking at the most units possible. So if you're looking for single family rentals, we have those all across Indianapolis as well, and even in the suburbs as well. So, are you ready to make some money? I have to ask my question again. If you're ready to make some money, let's make some money together. I love working with investors. I work with investors pretty much every day alongside my residential clients, and really just hop all over the city looking for new projects and sending out, great project ideas to all the investors I work with. So if you're interested in working together, like I said, my name's Evan Deal. I'm with the Lead Icon team in eXp Realty. All my information is below, and just hop on my calendar. That's the best way to get to me, or you can shoot me a text or email, but it's best if we talk face to face and fully talk through what you're looking to do here in Indianapolis. So with that, this is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. If you like this video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so that you're kept in the loop on everything happening in and around Indianapolis, the Circle City that we love and call home. Thanks so much. I'm Evan Deal. I'll see you in the next one.